Hey guys, welcome back to the AOE podcast. Today we are joined with the entire family. We've got BDC over there, of course. We've got YohDood.
Hello.
And Panda.
Hello.
Shall remain anonymous.
Who's decided to remain anonymous. So we decided to get together and try to draft our favorite cards from the new Bloomburrow set. We left out the commander cards, and we're going in order of who wins the most in our lovely commander pod here.
You'd have to say that.
Wins the most recently.
Yeah, at least recently. Yeah, and so BDC gets the first pick so that his dismal record has done him some good.
Damn.
Click.
BDC has left the chat.
Like y'all, I'm going home.
But yeah. So before we get started with it, what do you guys think of Bloomburrow overall?
It's ridiculous. That's for
I'm
sure.
going back to Arena after it comes out.
It's the old of our
This is
time.
a lot.
It's
our time.
It's got some strong stuff in it, especially if you like the tribal or typal kind of stuff. Yeah. Stuff that's going on with it. If you like the cute little animals, then this is definitely the set for you. But there's some powerful cards in this set that I think we're going to see a lot in Commander, definitely in Standard with rotation hitting, like right as this comes out,
Yeah.
of course.
It's going to hit hard.
So you're going to have... It's going to be Arena's nightmare with the amount of tokens that this set's going to make.
Oh, yeah.
Just
going to shut the
Battlefield.
system down
I
in the
hope you-
first week.
I hope you don't play on your phone because you're never going to be able to see
No,
all the
I
cards.
already have it downloaded on my computer.
Rip me.
No, never
Yeah.
played it on phone. Can't do it.
I play it on my tablet sometimes, but not my phone. It's just too much.
Exclusively play it on my phone.
I've gotten too old. I can't see the cards.
Join the club. I was just telling Steps that I've been saving up bird cards, frog cards, and bat cards. And now it's like, I start looking at this and like, dang it, it's why I've been saving it all this time. I have my frog commander already.
Yeah, no, this is the set for that. If you want one of those woodland creature decks, this is it. Because there's not any beating this set for that stuff. But with all that fun said, let's go ahead and jump into it. BDC, what is your first pick of the first round?
All right. Like I said, I have my frog commander. And it does everything I want in a card. It's beautiful. It does card draw, it does life gain, and +1/+1 counters. The only caveat is I have to cast creatures 4 or greater. That would be Helga, the Skirmish Seer. Skittish Seer. Yeah, I did it already.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, Helga the Skittish Seer costs a green, white, and a blue. For a legendary creature, Frog Druid, a 1/3. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 4 or greater, you draw a card. Gain 1 life, and put a +1/+1 counter on the Skittish, or Helga the Skittish Seer. Skittish Seer. Wow, why is it a tongue twister?
See, I'm not the only one that has trouble with that one.
You can tap it and add X mana of any one color, where X is her power. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells with mana value 4 or greater, or creature spells with X in their mana costs. So you go Hydras and really big creatures.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. It's a nice little commander,
itself.
Especially.
I'm going to have no trouble casting cards 4 or greater.
No
Especially
trouble
in
at all.
green.
I say you got green. You can get all the ramp in the world, and
Problem is, most of your frogs are not 4 or greater, so they're going to be.
No.
Well, you don't have black, so you can't play like the Get Monster or
Yeah, exactly.
Froggy. Froggy is that big?
Froggy
I
is
love
It's also a
Froggy.
mono green.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. There you
it'll
go.
be in there. Oh, it'll be in there. I love that card. But yeah, that's my
All right,
first
that's
pick.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna put that on the. So that's going to be the commander for the deck you're building. Is that what
Yes,
you're saying?
that's going to be my first, at least my first frog commander. I don't know if I'll have anything left to do. Unless I want to do black, like you said, I'll have to find a different commander. But this is my frog commander.
It's
For
also
now.
4. Gronok, the Omnivore, is also 4 mana.
Does it have black in it?
No, he's Cynic.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's green-blue. Yeah, so there's a couple, and you could you don't have black.
Maybe I'll just stick the
You could always
Hydras
play
in with
cards
them.
Yeah,
We'll just stick
I say
the
you put all the
Hydras in.
Hydras in there, and you're good to go.
Frog Hydra deck.
Why not?
No one's thought of that yet.
I don't want to see a Frog Hydra.
I want to see a card that's a Frog Hydra. That's what I want to see.
I know. That's what I don't want to see. It's what I just said.
Well, you're not me.
That's true.
All right, Jesse. Panda. What is your first pick?
I'm a little torn between two, but I'm gonna take the one that I'm actually building a deck for right now, not adding into a deck. And that is Bria the Riptide Rogue.
Bria the Riptide Rogue.
I don't know if she's actually coming out in the set, but she's part of the starter kit.
Yeah, she'll be in the set.
Okay, good.
All right, so you got Bria the Riptide Rogue, 2 blue and a red for legendary creature Auto Rogue with prowess. Other creatures you control have prowess, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. What the hell?
Yeah.
I almost had this on my list, and the second I saw it was an otter, and I'm like, oh, never mind.
Oh,
so
before I get a
otter
chance.
shaming.
Let me get this straight. All you got to do is pump all your creatures up with prowess. For every card you played that's not a creature, one of them can't. Man, that's.
You know what the crazy part is that if they have multiple instances of prowesses, it stacks.
Yeah, you get prowess twice.
It does. He already looked it up.
So we just make sure nothing stays on the field. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got it. That's crazy. That's a really strong one. I didn't even see that one. I may have just seen Otter and moved on. Just like
Otter shaming today.
YohDood said.
It's not shaming.
No,
Panda's been building an otter deck for like a millennia, so
We just knew Panda.
I need more.
Yeah, we just knew Panda was going to go for him, so there's no point.
Need more otters.
I didn't want to waste my time with it. That is a good card, though.
It is.
Guess I didn't touch
it is
the
a very
otters.
good card. I think that one will be pretty strong. All right, YohDood,
Sir.
you're up.
All right. So you know what would go great in that otter deck? I say I didn't pick an otter. I just realized my first pick is an otter.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I think I know which one it's gonna be too.
My first round draft pick is Storm Splitter.
Storm Splitter.
Hey, I actually have him on my list.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, he's on my list too. Damn it.
Good card.
Sounds dumb.
Yeah, so Storm Splitter is 3 and a red for a creature otter wizard, 1/4 with haste. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a token that's a copy of Storm Splitter. Exile that token at the beginning of the next end step. But they all have haste, so you create a bajillion of them.
Yeah.
And then you attack out.
And the tokens have that too.
Yeah. So they just keeps making. It's like Scoot Swarm, but so much worse.
Yeah. It's so much worse.
I don't know that's so much worse because it still exiles them at the end step.
There's not going to be an end step.
The insect
That's
comes
if
at the
you
end
can
of
keep
combat.
playing instants and sorceries, though.
I have
but
3 words
if you-
for you, Panda. Zada Hedron Grinder.
I already have one.
Yeah.
I have one set
it's,
aside.
it's crazy because, like I said, there's not going to be an end step. You put this in any red or is it Storm deck?
Jeskai.
Yeah.
Or Jeskai. Anything that is a Storm deck, this goes absolutely insane. This card will not be cheap. If you get a hold of one, never let it go.
Right.
Unless you're just trying
But
to
the
make the
copies
money off
count
of it.
as casted?
No,
No.
it's not going to help your storm count.
Okay.
But while you're storming off, and then you play a card like Grape Shot that copies for everything, you take out one opponent that way. You've only got 2 left.
Copies wouldn't work. It has to be cast.
Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like Zada
That's what I
will
was saying, yeah.
double trigger Storm Splitter.
All
Yeah.
right.
All the copies will also get anything I
but
put on Zada.
they'll still get the buffs.
Yeah.
At least the
Okay.
ones on the battlefield at that moment.
It's just
It's
like it's a never ending cycle of like it's gonna be a horrible board state too, because once you cast one thing to Zada, Storm Slitter will double, and then those will get all the cards, and then they'll double again, and those will get all but the first card.
Yeah.
Double again.
Yeah,
and
it's
just all but the first two.
It's still incredibly broken, but at least it doesn't go off of copying spells.
Now imagine they had prowess.
Well,
Narset.
Hold on,
people. We're trying to figure out how to break this.
Fuck it, we're gonna do it live. Because when you storm something,
I think Storm says that you
copy this spell. When you cast it, copy it for. Okay, so it doesn't say that you cast it.
You don't cast the copy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The same works with prowess. That's why I almost stopped doing prowess in the Sheldon deck I built.
Oh yeah, because that doesn't. Okay. Well,
I'm also
still a very good card.
I thought about that Narset.
Yeah.
Steps brought it up to me whenever I was talking about making a prowess deck, making Narset the commander, but then I was like, no.
Yeah.
I want my Otter.
I think the Otter's just as good now, yeah.
Yeah, no, the Otter is just as good. It just depends on whether you want. Yeah, it's just whether you want white or not. And as long as it's in the command zone, you're going to be fine, whether it's the Otter or Narset.
Yeah.
I don't think white really gives you a lot. I guess it gives you more removal.
I'd say more removal. That's about it. Swords of Plowshares.
Just depends on what you're going after, really. All right. I guess that brings it to me, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My first pick is hard for me to choose. You already took Storm Splitter from me.
That's why he was number one.
I'm going to go with... It is Maya. It's Feather's Night.
Yeah.
I specifically didn't put this on my list because I knew it was going to.
Yeah.
It was late on my list. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a 3/black legendary creature, elemental bird. He's a 6/5 with flying and trample. Ward, discard a card. Creatures your opponents control have a base toughness of 1.
Somebody get the bird shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So then anything I can play to take it down by 1. If you want to be an uber douche and play this in a deck with cards like Elish Norn, where all creatures get -2/-2.
Jeez.
They just never get a creature ever. It's brutal. It can be really broken. I think there's a lot of fun things you can do with it. And plus, it's a 6/5 flyer with flying and trample. And you're going to have to ditch a card just to target it.
And it's only a 5-drop.
Yeah, and it's only a 5-drop. The power creep is real. 5's still a lot, but man, if you can get this out and do what you're trying to do, like there's so many cards that you can break this with to make sure your opponents never have a creature. And it's creatures your opponents control, not all creatures. So my creature's toughness is just fine.
Of course.
So yeah, and there's plenty of ways to lock people out of the game, plenty of ways to lose friends, and
I just gotta make sure that I have enough damage to kill anything you throw at me.
It's like an instant board wipe card. Like as soon as you see it, it's time.
Yeah, if somebody brings this down, you can almost guarantee there's another piece coming with it. That's just gonna make your day not fun at all.
For the win.
Yeah. Well, all right, BDC. That brings us back to you, sir.
You guys. Yeah, this one. I can't believe no one picked this one.
Don't take another one of my picks, please.
I probably did. You guys started too low. I'm telling you, I picked all commanders. I mean, all legendaries. I didn't go for anything less than that. Here you go. Let's hear all the moans. Ygra, Eater of All.
He's on my list.
Okay.
Yeah, this cat looks awesome.
It is busted, yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
Ygra, Eater of All is 3 black-green for legendary creature, elemental cat, 6/6 with ward, sacrifice of food. It means you can't target it unless you sack a food.
Read the rest of it.
So if your deck, I know, you get foods from him, but that's still sucks.
Essentially hexproof in most commander decks.
Because other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types. So you can sack a creature, which is just terrible. And so other creatures are food artifacts in addition to the other types and have pay 2, tap it to sacrifice the permanent, you gain 3 life. Whenever a food is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put 2 1/1 counters on Yagra, Eater of All. So anytime a creature hits the battlefield or hits the graveyard, it's because it doesn't say other creatures that are in play.
I can't believe it doesn't say non-token creatures.
And it doesn't say non-token creatures.
Oh my goodness, it doesn't, does it? Every time I kill
you
something...
don't even need to worry. Yeah, you don't have to worry about your opponent's deck, right? You build a bunch of tokens out and kill them all.
Yeah.
Or have a sack outlet and just sack them to anything. And every time they hit, this thing gets 2/2. Yeah.
And every time I tap a food or something for food, it goes to the graveyard. We've already been through this before when it comes to the rules. So that counts too. Yeah.
Sure does. And you use this. You can use mill on your opponents. You can use...
No,
that works.
It has to go from the battlefield.
It does have to go from the battlefield.
Where?
Yeah, from the battlefield. Yeah, you can't mill.
Okay. I didn't read far enough.
Yeah.
Reading the card explains the card.
At least there's that. But still, there's plenty of ways to kill your own stuff. You team this up with like Sir Conrad. And any kind of Blood Artist effect. This is Gruul Aristocrats is what this becomes.
It's Golgari Aristocrats.
What did I say?
Gruul.
Oh, yeah. Golgari. Sorry. That's my bad.
I was going to make a whole joke be like, you smell that? Smells like aristocrats.
Yeah. Every deck is aristocrats to you.
It is. YohDood.
I'll find a way.
It's in green, too, so there's a lot of hexproof that you could throw into this thing to protect, too. So,
yeah, you can do a lot with this. This is a great pick.
The reason Cerulf only got one play before... He almost got permabanned from the table.
I hate that wolf. He's the worst.
That's the room as a Dark Souls boss. It's fine. Got it.
It's fair. It's not a bad pick, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Panda. He was on my short list too.
Yeah.
He was my number 3.
All right, Panda, what you got next?
I'm debating between 2.
He's still debating.
But I think I'm gonna. Dude, I have to. There's so many good cards. I'm going to take Camilla the Seed Miser as the resident squirrel player of the group.
Yeah, okay. I didn't put squirrels either.
Yeah.
She is black-green 1, 3/3, menace. Other squirrels you control have menace. Whenever you sacrifice 1 or more foods, you create a 1/1 squirrel. And then you can tap 2 forge and put a 1/1 counter on each other squirrel you control.
All right, so a little bit of background for everybody out there listening. Panda here has a squirrel deck that we all hate dearly.
Yeah, Chatterfang.
It's not that bad.
Because all it does is spit out endless squirrels that go from 1/1s to 8/8s before you can blink an eye.
Shout out to the Chitter Spitter.
In this set... is looking to get that deck permabanned from the pod, so that's fine. I don't know what to tell you.
You think the Seed Miser is the problem?
No, that's the problem. That's the least of my worries. But yeah, no, the squirrels in this set are absolutely busted. This one's
can't wait to make a Chatterfang deck on Arena.
Oh Jesus! First time I see Chatterfang in a brawl game, I'm leaving. I quit. All right, YohDood, that's gonna be you.
Talking about Jank earlier, this is gonna come out of pocket for me. I was gonna do all like the commanders and stuff, and it was like, I just kind of want cards that just add on to. I have some commander stuff that I want to do, like commanders specifically stuff, and I realized most of them are in the commander decks, and I was like, oh well, okay, well, since we're not talking about those. Just take those out, and I'll just add these weird cards. And I want to know what I can do with this. This sounds janky, and I love it to death. My second pick is Mist Breath Elder.
Yep. So Mist Breath Elder is the cost is just a forest.
Single
creature,
green.
frog warrior, the 2/2. So a power creep again. The fact that a 1-drop is a 2/2.
And
gets bigger. At the beginning of your upkeep, return another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on Mist Breath Elder. Otherwise, you may return Mist Breath Elder to its owner's hand.
That being said, you can't play it on turn 1.
Yeah, no.
Put them in a landfill.
Well, yeah, you can.
No, because you'll have to.
They're not a
You'll have to put him
landfill.
back the next turn.
It says you may return him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You do have to return another creature though, whenever you have another creature.
If you do, yeah.
Yeah. But this is of course great in any blink deck. If you're talking about Commander, you can go back to the oldies but goodies like Rune, the hidden path.
Something like that.
Blink decks like that with Charming Prince and all that fun stuff. This will be fun in Standard though. I think playing around with. I think you'll have a good time with it. Interesting pick. Interesting.
That's what Peter said.
That's exactly what he said.
Are you guys toasting?
Anyway.
At least you have it on.
All right. So for my second pick, we made jokes about it yesterday when we were talking about the rules for this and what everybody's going to do. And we were like, are we going to make it just rares and mythics? And I said, well, I'm not going to stop you if you want to pick an uncommon. Well, I did. So
I think there's a common in my list.
So I took Consumed by Greed. It is a 1 black for an instant. You may gift a card, which if you don't know yet, in Bloomburrow, there's a gift system where if it says gift a card or gift a token or whatever, you may promise an opponent a gift as you cast a spell. If you do, they draw a card before its other effects. So they get the gift before you get to do it. So in this case, you're going to want to give your opponent a card most of the time. You let somebody draw a card. Target opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control. If the gift was promised, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It's not the greatest card in the world, but it is a fun way to get rid of a big threat and get something back.
Return one of your big threats.
Yeah, for 3 mana.
Oh,
so,
3 mana.
And all I've got to do is give you a card. I mean, giving my opponents a card isn't my favorite thing, but to get rid of a threat, get mine back, I think 3 mana is fair for that. And you just let whoever you think's in last draw a card and go from there.
How did Group I think get in black?
Well,
this whole the gifted card system is, I don't know, Group Hug, not really, but
some of it is.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, giving your opponents anything is a risk.
An opponent.
Yeah, but
it does absolutely add to the politics.
It does. It really does.
That is. I never thought about the gift system in Commander and how that is very interesting, actually.
Yeah. So it's going to completely open up politics. You go, hey, I'm going to play this. Don't attack me.
Gift to one player and then target a different opponent?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to make an agreement with somebody and kill their biggest creature.
An opponent a gift. Yeah. Nobody's going to take that deal. But it's also not a deal. Like, they don't get a choice.
Yeah.
It says you pick and they take it. The end. And so
they take it all right.
I got an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah. I really like the Consumed by Greed for 3 mana. I thought that was really strong, especially if you're mono black. Like, it's just great. Because I mean, 3 mana is the same cost as a murder, right? So I can murder it and it dies, or I can play this, let you draw a card, still murder it, and get a card back from my graveyard.
It's crazy.
And that's an uncommon, so I had to take it.
Fair enough.
Back to the top.
Of course, the top.
BDC.
All right, I'm going to be a little easier on you guys because I told you before I had some animal commanders that I have been saving up for. And the one I think that's next, it's either going to be knights or it's going to be birds. I pick Castrol the Windcrested.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Castrol the Windcrested is 3 white and a blue for legendary creature, Bird Scout. It's a 4/5 with flying. Shocking that it's a bird that flies. Whenever one or more birds you control deal combat damage to a player, choose one. you may have a bird creature card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Put a 1/1 counter on each bird you control or draw a card. If you want a bird commander, you can't ask for much more.
Nope.
It's in the right colors. It's doing crazy things. It'd be careful putting cards from your hand onto the battlefield with finality counters.
Yeah. It's more built for pulling it out of the graveyard.
But if you really need it, it's a way to cheat it out fast, especially if it's a huge drop and you've got other things you want to do. It's a way of doing it. To me, the 1/1 counter on each bird you control is probably your bread and butter most of the time.
Unless
you
need something else,
I guess if you really need to.
That's the go-to, I'm sure. Rampage.
I'm just trying to think of like a way that you could remove counters quickly.
For what?
For like the finality counters.
Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of cards out there that do it. I don't know off the top of my head.
A land in either Assassin's Creed or the last set that could move a counter, and that would be cool. Like you could put it on a boat or bird token, be like, I don't care if it has a finality counter on it.
True. I'll look into that. That's interesting.
Really?
You're right.
Yeah, finding a way to get rid of that finality counter would be a good way to cheat in birds. But then that, I'm gonna say something I'm probably gonna end up being famous on this podcast for saying. It's too expensive for me.
It's a 5-drop.
Yeah, it's too much. No haste, no vigilance. It's 4 or 5. It's a bird.
It's a bird.
I expect it to fly.
And it won't be the only bird on the field. I'll guarantee you that.
And the fact that it's one or more birds also kind of is a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, I hate they're learning their game on their end. A little too good sometimes.
You say that, but freaking Yargro over here can turn into like a 50-50 with one Ingurix can just murder a player instantly.
Yeah. It's very, very true. I was trying to look real quick and see if I could find anything that would remove any counter. I'm sure there are ways to do it, but I can't find it quickly, so moving on.
You could blink it.
I would say if you blink it.
Yeah,
oh, true.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
That might be your best bet.
Blue, white,
Yeah.
blink, damn.
You're right.
And I say it's literally a white, blue.
It's the perfect colors for it. Or even just having things to bounce it back to your hand.
Yeah.
Like unsummons and stuff like that. Because then you can play it again and it's a brand new creature. Well, yeah, no, that's pretty nice. Can't argue with that. And the bird looks kind of cool on the art there. The one we've got is the showcase art. Kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
Its own little mask there. Reminds me of those old school like pilot masks that had like the scarf on it and all that. Sure, that's what they were going for. All right. That brings us to Panda. Time for another squirrel or otter.
I was gonna say, if you haven't gotten the gist of the theme here,
this is all we're getting today, folks.
My third pick is Alania, the Divergent Storm.
Let's see. Oh, there it is.
Otter.
Yeah,
Blue, red, and 3 for a 3/5 otter wizard. Whenever you cast a spell, and it's the first instant or sorcery spell. Wait, the first instant spell, the first sorcery spell, or the first otter spell, other than Alania, you've cast this turn, you may have target opponent draw a card. If you do, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy.
All right. I need everybody to listen to me very, very carefully. Especially everyone else in this pod. Do not take the card. Just don't draw the card. You don't want them copying their spells.
It's on the spell.
Oh no,
I don't
it doesn't
think you
depend.
get to choose.
No.
I may have target.
Oh my god, it's not a choice.
It's hey, have a card.
Oh hell. Never mind.
Play one set where everybody's just throwing cards at everybody.
Yeah. Everybody gets to start with the Reliquary Tower in play. And we just go ham.
You get a card. You get a card. You get a card. Everybody gets a card.
If you guys haven't picked up on it yet, we like to play a very janky form of Magic. Most of the time, it's just the weirdest things you can think of. power level is not our general thing. We like the dumb stuff.
I like tribal
otters with prowess.
Hey! Tribal is my deal. Leave me alone.
Do you have a single deck that is not
Volo?
I would say Volo.
The anti-tribal deck.
Yeah.
The anti-tribal tribal.
It's like
it's token tribal.
I say it's token tribal. He's gone so far in the other direction that somehow it's circled back around.
I mean, Otrimi technically isn't.
That was a pre-con.
And it's a good pre-con.
That should tell you.
You didn't ask him to name what he built.
That's fair. That's fair.
True.
I concede.
All right. Two for two. This card's too expensive for me.
How much is that?
5 mana.
It's a 5 mana.
Oh, the mana cost is too much. I was like, these cards haven't even come out yet. How do you know it costs too much? All right. Yo, dude, you're up. Which bargain basement are we getting from you this time?
Hell yeah. You already know.
I do.
You already know.
I'm well aware. I'm surprised you picked the Storm Splitter at 4.
Yeah, it's a little expensive.
It's not a commander, though.
It's a little expensive.
It's a little expensive. He's a commander, though.
4 mana. Anyway.
This might be... I'm looking real quick. I think this might be the only, like... no, that's not true. He's one of the only legendaries I picked this whole run.
Okay.
And to show you, I've said the last 2 commanders, so they're too expensive for me. 5 mana is just a lot, especially if he's going to be your commander. Because the second it dies, it's 7 mana, and then the second it dies, it's 9 mana. It's too much. It's a lot of preamble for a little lizard boy. My my next pick, number 3
it's the gecko.
Is Gev. Scald Scorch.
Yeah. Pretty sure he was on my list
just looking at him.
Yeah. Give the Scaled Scorch is a black and a red for a legendary creature, Lizard Mercenary, 3/2. They couldn't have made him an assassin to help me out.
Yeah.
No.
Ward, pay 2 life. Other creatures you control enter with an additional 1/1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever you cast a lizard spell, give Scaled Scorch deals 1 damage to target opponent. Yeah, it's aristocrats.
You smell
again.
it?
Jesus.
Smells like aristocrats.
Smells like something.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I'm giving all my creatures +3 the moment they enter the battlefield.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, all you've really got to do is make sure that you hit every opponent. You play stuff like Myriad, anything like that.
You just play Bastion of Remembrance and sack a creature.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a lot easier than you're making it sound. I don't have to attack you.
Yeah.
I'm going to need like 3 of them.
You make
1
me
for
sad.
The commander. And then 2 for every other aristocrats deck I want to build that day.
And then I get questioned on why I build decks to just smash face as fast as possible.
You get questioned for sneaking in a $50 card into your goddamn decks.
It was $30 and it was 1 manager.
Oh, it's on. It's on.
Oh my
It's a
god!
card off. It's a card off.
I played 1 manager.
Welcome to
Actually, there
our.
was another one, wasn't it? What was the other one?
The sword, the freaking
the sword of feast and famine.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Don't forget that he copied it.
Yeah. Then I copied it.
We pulled like 5 of them. He won't let me have one. It's okay.
I pulled 2 of them. I still have it.
It's okay. I'm not salty. It's fine.
All right. Moving on.
It's your turn.
It is my turn. What? Do I want to do another uncommon? No, I don't.
If you want to do uncommons, be my guest.
No, we're gonna do my my favorite, just straight red. We'll do Season of the Bold.
That's
for
fair.
3 red for a sorcery. You can choose up to 5 pause worth of modes, and once you you may choose the same mode more than once. So you can pay 1 paw to create a tapped treasure token, 2 paws to exile the top 2 cards of your library until end of your next turn. You may play them, or 3 paws, and until end of your next turn, whenever you cast a spell, Season of the Bold deals 2 damage to up to 1 target creature. So, at worst, I get 5 treasures that I can, if I don't have anything else to do with the mana. But being able to exile the top 2 cards is great. So for 5 mana, I can get 2 cards off the top of my library that I can play till the end of next turn and 3 treasures, or I can get 4 cards off the top of my library and 1 treasure. I really don't know if the dealing 2 damage to up to 1 creature matters. It's very situational. Depends on what they've got out, what you can kill with it.
If it wasn't target creature.
Yeah. No, if it was target opponent, where it's a different story, or
any target.
Each opponent or any target, things like that, that would have been a little better. I don't really think that's going to come up that often when you play the card, but the other 2 are great. Being able to get 2 cards or 4 cards and treasure tokens for 5 mana in red, especially if you're trying to do storm decks and things of that nature, it's just another way. If they weren't tapped treasure tokens, it'd be the best card ever, because I could pay 5 for it just to get 5 treasures. So it's a free card in a storm deck. But they thought of that, so they made them tapped. But yeah,
this was on my long list, and I realized the only reason I wanted it was for Mr. House, and I was like, this is too much. I don't care. It's too expensive. Again, it doesn't do enough. Like, it's fine. There's better ways of card draw, I think.
Yeah. No, well, there definitely are, but when you're talking, like, I play a lot of mono red, okay? I need as many instances of being able to get those cards as possible. So, I mean, while I play cards like Wild Guess and Faithless Looting,
he doesn't get normal draw. It's all impulse.
I don't get normal draw. So this is my shit. Yeah, there you go.
And it's some good shit.
It is some good shit. So, what does this make? Round 4? Is that what we're at now?
Round 4,
yeah. And we're back up to the lovely BDC.
Back up to the top. Thank you very much.
I really liked it when you called him that the one time.
Yeah. Stroked my ego. I like that. All right, I'm going to blow YohDood's mind.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm going to blow his mind. He thought 5 mana was too much.
Oh, no. He's going higher.
Oh, yeah.
Bloomburrow, Bellow of the Woods. Not for Commander, ever, mind you. But I'm building a bear deck. And I also have a mono green deck this would go well in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a great card. It's Bloomburrow, Bellow of the Woods, 4 green for legendary creature, elemental bear, vigilance and reach. Its power is toughness or equal to the number of lands you control. When it enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards, then return all land cards from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. It's a great card. It can go in a bear deck, obviously. It's a big bear.
Landfall.
But putting it in a landfall deck is where this is really going to shine, because of
landfall bear deck.
Yeah, landfall bear deck. There we go.
So I need 3.
Yeah.
Not asking much.
Especially the returning all land cards from your graveyard. Playing like we do, that it matters. But if you've got like fetches and stuff like that are in the graveyard, fabled passages, evolving wilds, all those all come back to the battlefield tapped.
You don't have to.
They're all back,
and you don't have to use them. You could just like leave them there, and they count for.
Yeah, and they'd count as lands. So it's just a way to pump it, or you go get more lands the next turn once they untap. It's really good. Effects like this work really well. You should know, because my desert deck does this on the regular. Dumping all my lands just to find ways like this. This card will probably go in there to bring them all back from the graveyard. It's a good effect. It's kind of niche. It doesn't happen a ton, but in landfall decks, you can't really argue with this card.
I think it's got shit tons of value.
Yeah,
I think this card's really good, actually.
Wow,
no, it's good.
You surprised me.
Especially with the vigilance and reach, like that.
I wish it had trample.
Oh, the
You're in
reaches.
green. There's ways of doing it.
There's plenty of ways to do it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If you're talking about a landfall deck, it's probably not going to be straight green. So you play like one of the Omnath, and you get some red in there, and then trample's just a phone call away.
Right.
You do Yara.
Just a card draw away.
It's good for landfall.
Yep. It's not a bad card at all. Good pick, sir. All right. Panda, you're up next.
Has anybody noticed the pattern yet?
We definitely know. Which otter is it?
Otter or squirrel?
No. Otter was last time. It's
Squirrel
squirrel
this time. Oh, okay, yeah. God help me.
I'm going to take the honored Dre leader.
Yeah.
2 in a green, 1/1 trample. Whenever he enters, I put a 1/1 counter for each other squirrel and or food I control. And whenever another squirrel or food you control enters, he gets a 1/1 counter.
Maybe we lost Steven.
No, I'm
There
here.
he is. Yay!
Yeah, this card it's the same as I said last time. I don't ever want to see these squirrels again when this set comes out.
You'll see him at least once.
I think Gavin was like, you know who you don't see enough in Commander? Chatterfang.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
What can we specifically do?
What's worse than squirrels?
Yeah.
Elves.
And he also has an elf deck. Shocking.
Yes, he
Okay,
does.
hold on. When was the last time you saw the elves?
Because we got tired of playing against them. You have a real knack for making decks that I never want to see again. So thanks for that.
Panda's also the player at the table that like we group up on first, like before anything happens, and he's always like, "Why are you guys getting? I don't have anything." And something like 10 games later, we'll finally be like, "All right, we'll leave Panda alone for a game," and he shows us exactly fucking why.
Hold on, my last win was pure fucking luck. Fuck you guys.
It's because we put our boot on
enough
your head.
time. Yeah.
Your decks are extremely powerful and get out of hand very quickly if we let them. The only one that even seems to have a modicum of randomness to it is the dragons, and that's because we don't have the mana bases to make it more consistent. So it's a random. Can I get to the land I need? But if you do, it's the goddamn Dragon.
Yeah.
It's just the end. It's a bad day. But yeah, so we'll have to
bad day.
We'll have to go through some of your decks sometime because you don't win a ton, but you don't win because we're scared. So
That's true.
Well, whenever I play a creature and everybody's like, that creature's scary, let's kill him because he played one creature.
It's because you turn a 1/1 squirrel into 80 1/1 squirrels.
What you get for playing tribal all the goddamn time. One creature, what's the big deal? Oh, look, I have 20 elves all of a sudden. What happened?
Well, maybe you guys should start playing tribal.
And you die.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys should take a fucking hit.
Like fucking roaches, man.
And now the messed up part is he's going to build this otter deck, and it's going to be, oh, look, they're all 50/50s, and you can't block them.
And you can't block them.
It's like, oh, okay. Cool.
Hell
You see,
Fuck me, I guess.
The worst part is that they're not all going to be otters. I hate that part. But
It's because there's not enough otters to do it.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
were correct.
Changelings.
All right. Oh, no. Don't. Morph on the Boundless in an otter deck. Pump them even more. All right.
Pump it.
YohDood, what is your 4th round pick, sir?
4th round. I can't believe BDC didn't pick this, as expensive as this card is.
Just out here taking strays.
Yeah.
I hear you.
My 4th round pick is the Rotten Mouth Viper.
Oh, yeah. Rotten Mouth Viper is a good card. It is a 5 and a black for a creature elemental snake 6/6. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of non-land permanents. Non-land permanents, not creatures. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this way. Whenever the Rotten Mouth Viper enters the battlefield, or enters or attacks, put a blight counter on it. Then for each blight counter on it, each opponent loses 4 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards. What the fuck?
Sounds like a 1-drop 6/6.
So
sounds like a 1-drop dead within the round.
Yeah, probably. Especially like you put it with the Scorch. I sacrifice things.
Yeah.
Trigger. Everybody takes one. This is a 1-drop 8/8.
Man, that's crazy. So, my pod, close your ears, because if you guys do this, I'll scoop. But anybody else, if you play Turgid
Oh yeah,
as your commander, and then you bring this out and you start making them sack it or lose 4 life, that's crazy. Or you could run this in an old school Athreos deck where when my creatures die, you either pay 3 life or I get it back.
Oh, who plays that?
So I sack all my creatures. Yeah, I know. I wonder. It was my first commander. But yeah, no, that's a really strong card. And 6 mana doesn't mean shit when you can sack anything to get it out. You can make a bunch of clue tokens and suddenly they're useful.
Damn.
I mean, 2 mana to draw a card, I guess, isn't terrible. There are worse things you could do, but
You're not discarding.
yeah, that's fair. The snake is good. Is expensive for you, but he can be made cheaper. So in any aristocrat deck, he's great. Yeah.
Guess what the dude builds?
Yeah. Shocking.
For the record, Sheldon's not aristocrats.
That's just random
fair.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. It's literally Moon Knight in a deck.
Should be his commander, right?
And don't worry, if you get any of these references throughout this, you're amongst friends. Let us know in the comments. I want to know, because we reference the most random shit imaginable.
Yeah. Comments
Speaking
below.
of random shit, my favorite new commander in this set, I'm probably going to try to build a deck around, is Balin the Haymaker.
The Haymaker.
Hell yeah.
Balin.
He's a red, green, and a white for a legendary creature, Rabbit Warrior, 4/3. And if you see the art, that scythe he's carrying, while the size of my femur, is still badass. Let's see. You can tap 2 untapped tokens you control to add 1 mana of any color. Tap 3 untapped tokens you control to draw a card, or tap 4 untapped tokens and put 3 1/1 counters on Balin. It gains trample until the end of turn. So you're going to go for your old school token deck, things like Parallel Lives. It's also got white, so you throw Anointed Procession in there. Yeah, and all the rabbits in the set that make rabbits rabbits.
Rabbits too.
Green white's really good for token too.
And then you add red to pump them all up, and it's just brutal.
I almost
you
picked
pump
this
them
one.
up with all your tokens, especially if I can make a bunch that are summoning sick anyway, so they can't attack, but they can tap for this ability. So
throw a Zada in there for funsies.
yeah, Zada, things like that.
I know if you guys are thinking hard enough about it. My love for New Capitan chimed in whenever I saw this card. Jetmir. Holy shit.
Yep.
Yeah, Jetmir's absolutely busted
You have
with it.
9 or more creatures. This thing is now +3/+0. It has got double strike, trample, and vigilance.
Yep. Yep, you'll beat me to it.
The 9 creatures don't have to attack. You just tap them.
Yep. That's all they got to do. And so you can do a Voltron style thing. I mean, where you're trying to take them out with commander damage, because all I've got to do is do it 6 times? 6 times 3 is 8. Yeah, 6 times, which means I need 24 tokens. And if we've learned anything from Jesse, 24 tokens isn't hard to do if you really get down to it.
Really
green white tokens is way easier than green black.
You could take somebody out in one turn, and especially if you've got Parallel Lives, Doubling Season, Anointed Procession, all these doublers,
all these $30 cards.
Yeah, $30 cards. You still win games. I'm tired of hearing about it.
When I do it with a handicap. to show you that I can.
You're awesome.
I apologize.
There you go.
Sorry that you're kneecapping yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything.
But-
Capping myself, but not my wallet.
This is where we'll splice in a message from the professor that it says buy singles, don't buy packs. It's bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, that's my fourth round. Going into the fifth and final round, BDC, you're up first.
Yeah,
Make it good.
That last one was on my list for sure, and I did think of Jetmer. That's some good stuff. But
Yeah, it's so much good.
yeah, talk about kneecapping yourself. I know I do it all the time. I'm the brewer of the group. I don't do a particular type, but I brew everything. And I usually stay out of aristocrats and some tribals. You wonder why, right? And aggro.
Yeah. Who
But
knew?
I do like a good devotion deck, and I think this would be a great commander for a deck that I'm putting together that has Charis in it, who deals off of islands, a blue devotion type deck. Eluge, the Shoreless Sea.
Oh yeah, Eluge is a 1 blue legendary creature, elemental fish. His power and toughness are equal to the number of islands you control. Whenever he enters or attacks, put a food counter on target land. It's an island in addition to its other types for as long as it has a flood counter. Oh,
Yeah,
I said
flood.
food counter, didn't I?
You did.
Whoops. Flood counter.
Flood.
Thing.
Food counter.
And the first instant and
You better
sorcery
feed that
spell
island.
you cast each turn costs blue less to cast for each land you control with a flood counter on. Which is interesting because if you run this as the commander, you're not going to have anything but islands already.
Mm-hmm.
But you can flood it anyway because it doesn't say you can't.
That's true.
I mean, you want to flood it for the lower cost.
I could use one of those for for my prowess deck.
But you can also flood your opponent's lands.
Yep, true.
And then use things like Island Wall to get through for free.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
You don't get the cost reduction for the ones your opponents control, but if you've got Island Walk, like
you just need them to have one.
you don't need the reduction.
Just pop each of them with
Because
one.
by turn in a mono blue deck, if all your lands are islands, I mean by turn 5 or 4 when you cast this thing's a 4/4 and then a 5/5, and it gets just bigger and bigger as it goes. Especially
you have to hit your land drops.
It's a big deal that it reduces the cost by blue though, and not 1. Because that makes cards like Opt and Brainstorm and stuff like that free.
It does say
or 1.
Blue or
Well,
one.
yeah. The blue can go towards a colorless one. That's fine. But the fact that it can do the blue is a big deal. Like you get the cost reduction with a lot of things.
You're
but
right.
Most of them will only reduce the colorless mana, not the...
Yeah.
Like I said,
First card that comes to mind, Invoke the Winds.
Yeah.
The
it needs to be in here.
Kamigawa Invoke.
Charix is the one I mentioned earlier. He's a fun card. Big chunky monster that can surprise
There's
people.
a lot of fun you could have with this.
Yep.
I like it. I like that a lot. I'm excited to see that deck, and especially this art. Like, surely it won't cost that much. You should get this one. It looks like a prehistoric drawing of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, the one that's in the monster book.
Yeah. It looks really cool.
Very nice.
All right, Panda. What is your final pick of the?
So I'm
Bloomburrow draft.
sitting here looking at my list, and I'm like, do I go for one of the mythics? I'm just like, I'm looking at Rawl over here, and then Tameo, and I'm just like, no, Swarm Yard Massacre.
What?
Yeah, see, it's cheater. It's a commander card, but we're gonna allow it.
It's a commander card? Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Because
okay.
I love this card.
Because it works for rats
Yeah,
too.
Swarmyard Massacre is 3 black sorcery. Create 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Then each creature that isn't an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each creature you control that is an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. So it's a one-sided board wipe as long as you're in one of those types. Most of the time, it'll get your opponents unless they happen to be playing. Like at our table, if I was playing my rat deck and Panda was playing a squirrel's deck, it wouldn't kill either of those. But most of the time, it's going to work out in your favor if you're putting this in your tribal deck. It's a good card. It's a very good card. It's 6 mana. Like it's an expensive 5 mana.
5, yeah.
That's a fine price for a board wipe, especially a one-sided board wipe. All right, YohDood, you're up, man.
I have so many cards in reserve that I'm like, do I want to pick this one instead?
I'm looking at your list of picks here, and I cannot believe for the life of me that Sword of Vengeance is on here.
What are you talking about?
I don't.
You don't. Why don't you believe Eater of Virtue?
Well, yeah, but it's an equipment. It doesn't work for that.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess put it in the deck.
Yeah, but I need more equipment.
But the Eater can't.
And also,
Geef
could use this. Yeah, you're right. And Geef could use this too.
I guess.
Trample and
But
Haste.
6 mana to get it on something isn't cheap.
That's true. It is expensive.
Eater of
That's
Virtue.
why it's in reserve.
Anyways, we're not talking
R
about
next
this
to it.
card. It's not your pick.
We aren't talking about it. I'm going to do the dumb thing.
Yay.
And I've got to do it. I was looking through the cards and I'd started to notice some of the reprints. The what do they call them? The special guests.
Yeah.
And this art is fucking too good. I'm calling dibs if we pull one. The stupid low chance that it is, dude. I want this Toski.
Yeah.
I want this fucking Redbeard Toski. What the fuck is this thing?
Dude,
I love him.
You can have him.
He's suddenly a Viking with a piece of lettuce on his forehead.
So cool, man.
Oh, that's right.
You see, if we get the special art Chatterfang, that's what I
was.
want.
Yeah.
You ever notice that Toski has a prosthetic arm? I did not.
I think it's in that art, because in this part, it's after Kaldheim, the world tree has been burnt, right?
Yeah. Did the original Toski have a prosthetic arm?
I don't think so.
I think you might have. Strange as that sounds.
I'm pulling it up.
The small.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah, he's got those 2 hooks in the original one.
Look at that.
Learn something new every day.
But no, dude, Toski's such a cool card.
Toski's a great card. I mean,
I got the special art from Kaldheim in my squirrel deck.
no.
I'm gonna build the Voltron Indestructible Squirrel.
The indestructible squirrel. Yeah.
Indestructible squirrel.
All right. And for the last and final pick of our draft for Bloomburrow, I have to take the one that I'm honestly surprised nobody else took it, but you know, at round 5, the value is unheard of. I have to take the 3-Tree City.
Yeah. I thought about it.
Oh, yeah.
The legendary land, as it enters, you choose a creature type. You can tap it to add a colorless, or pay 2 and tap it to add a color, or choose a color at an amount of mana of that color equal to the number of creatures you control of the type. It's a poor man's Gaia's Cradle. And that 2 mana doesn't mean anything if you've got enough of that creature type out.
True.
Like it's
You say poor man's 3-Tree City. It ain't cheap. It ain't gonna be.
No. It's not going to be cheap, but it's not going to be $1,000.
It's not gonna be Gaia's Cradle.
Giant's
Yeah.
Cradle, yeah.
Because for pre-order right now, it is $40.
Wow.
I tried to stay away from anything that was going to be over 15-20 because
Now, I didn't think it would start that high, but all right.
Yeah.
I know why it is. It's like I said, it's a
Popper.
It's
cheaper
poor
version.
man's Gaia's Cradle. Yeah.
The bear that
Miss Popper
BDC
did.
picked
Yeah.
was like $16 pre-order, and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to
Yeah.
get.
I didn't even
that,
look at
so.
prices. I was just looking
I
at
didn't.
the cards. But
I thought about saying something before we started
I don't-
this, and I think we'll see how it goes.
yeah,
Because it's hard to tell with pre-orders, because some of these cards will
Yeah.
start like $20, and then 2 weeks into the set, it's like 10 cents, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, okay.
it's like with the Assassin's Creed stuff. I think the textured foil of Ezio was pre-ordering for like 200.
That's
Now
crazy.
it's under 100. So yeah, you never know with the pre-orders.
I don't see the 3-Tree City going anywhere but up.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
not. It'll be $80 in a couple weeks.
It's gonna be turned into fucking what's the green artifact from Eldraine?
Oh, the Great Hinge.
Great Hinge.
Yeah, the Great Hinge.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that card's busted too. I wish they'd reprint that thing, but I'm not really going to spend a lot of time going into why 3-Tree City is good. I mean,
you don't have to.
Obvious.
Look at it. It is
it
what
explains
it is.
itself.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially at rare, which I don't. There's not a whole lot of mythic lands, very few, but
True.
Putting it at rare with an ability that powerful, 2 mana at the speed of the game these days is nothing. So yeah, no, it's busted. And it's any type. Like, I mean, you could choose knights, rats, squirrels.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And you can mix and choose as you please.
It's why it'll be that expensive, because it literally goes into every single tribal deck that's ever been built. Which,
no, it is of one color. Okay.
Yeah, you got to choose one color. So that's how they decided to try to limit its power a little bit, but it's not going to help. Because
I had the 3-Tree City in there to begin with,
yeah,
and I was like, somebody else will pick it. I don't need this.
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't going to, because I figured somebody else would, but with the last pick in the whole thing, I was like, I got to talk about it. It's such a great card. But if you put this in a mono black deck, like my rat deck, and
my zombies,
zombies, or the green squirrels, although the squirrels are green and black, but you know what I mean. Any deck,
more than half of them are green.
Any deck that doesn't need a lot of every color, which is most decks, like I'm going to throw this into my Assassin's deck that I'm building for Ezio, and choose black every time, because
all you need is black.
The free running cost, the whole thing with Ezio.
Yeah.
Like I need 80 of these, and it's going to be hard to get a hold of them. So
yeah, it is.
The only land on my list was the Oak Hollow Village.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It is.
Oh man, I need one of these for my goblins too. Dang it!
Exactly. That's why it's going to go up.
So dang it!
Let's go gambling. Dang it!
Dang it!
Anyway,
so to end this, would you like to go around the table and talk about the undrafted cards that we had on our list?
Sure.
The honorable mentions.
We can start with BDC and just go around like we have been.
Okay. I'm going to bring this up because before I realized I'd picked a commander card, an actual commander, I had this like on top of my list, and we were talking about it last night. Ishai Oitai Dragon Speaker, which is a bird monk, flying. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, I get a +1/+1 counter on it. And the cool thing is it partners. And so right now, if I can find the card, it may be hard to find, Rayhan Last of the Abzan, which gives it a green-black. I was looking for green for protection. And this one worked so well with it because it enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters. Sorry, +1/+1. Whenever a creature I control dies or is put in a command zone, if it had one or more +1/+1 counters on it, I can put that many +1/+1 counters on a target creature. So it's sort of like, what was the one? Azaluth? Oh, I can't even remember.
The Ozolith?
Ozolith, thank you. That basically when everything dies with a counter, all the counters stay there. Well, you can take those counters and put them on something else. But anyway, that was off the list, I realized. The others I had on my list were, let's see, it's the 5. Which one did I miss?
I didn't. Let's see. You didn't talk
5.
about
Burke, the Long Ear of the Law.
Yeah,
that was a good one. I liked that one.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a good rabbit soldier. He gets a 1/1 counter on it he puts 1/1 counters on up to one of two target creatures. Yeah, it's a good for a 1/1 counter deck again in white and
there's
green.
Attacks, it doubles everything.
It's kind of their thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Balin, I had Balin on my list. You already picked that one. I also picked Clement. Speaking of frogs,
the worry wart.
Yeah,
nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, he bounces things. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and he's a mana dork.
Yes,
he makes all frogs.
Yeah.
So
all frogs.
He's black.
Very nice.
It's black and green. Sorry, black. No, it's green and
Blue.
blue.
It's blue and green. Yeah.
So it would fit with my commander. It would go well in that. And I like frogs. And then the last one I picked was my bat commander, Zoraline, the Cosmos Collar.
Yeah. Every time a bat attacks, you gain a life.
Yes.
When it enters or attacks, you may pay white, black, and 2 life. When you do, return target non-land permanent card with mana value 3 or less. Wow. Okay.
And those bats are like
I had
rats.
this on my short list.
Yeah.
But the only deck I would want to put it in can't play it.
Slap Luris into that deck.
I'd say, you get things like Luris. Or,
Right.
What was I just...
You can't companion Loris with it, though.
No.
That's fine.
Just throw it in there.
But who needs that?
I say you still get the. It's still a good value.
I need that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good because they yeah, I like it. I like the bat.
Okay. And that's my short
All
list.
right.
Leftovers.
How about you, Panda? What do you got left in this list? Let's take a look at it.
Chatterfang's in there, but that's self-explanatory. It's simply for the art, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
But you've got Fell in there. Look, 2-drop destroy, period.
It was
no caveat.
It was in my list too. I just did. That's what I said earlier. Do I want to go for another uncommon? Fell is a great card. It's sorcery speed, but for 2 mana, destroy anything. No condition on it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And then Raw the Crackling Wit.
Yeah.
Mostly for the art.
Yeah. The weird thing.
He's a beautiful creature.
Here's the thing, right? And we can talk about this for a minute. Raoul Crackling Wit shows up as an otter on all of the art. There's not an art of him that's not an otter. And he's in the actual set. This isn't a special guest card like the Tameo and all those.
No, it's legitimately in there.
Why is Raoul an otter? What happened?
He creates an otter.
Is it wizard?
He's an is it?
Sure. Yeah. So he's just shape shifting into it for funsies.
Either he shape shifted into it, or he fucked up some kind of incantation and turned himself into an otter.
They're all animals, aren't they?
Yeah, well, all those other ones are just like guest cards. It's just art to make it look cool.
But Rawl's actually
in the set.
Only in the story. I haven't read the story.
I guess that's true. I guess they could have. I haven't got to read this one yet either.
I'm happy they made Nissan a frog.
Fucking dumb.
The full art starting at $24.
Yeah,
starting.
Yeah. Why?
It'll go down.
It'll go down.
Just hold out.
Unless it ends up being absolutely busted. But one of the other things we can talk about, they brought back the classes, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. I got Scavenger's Talent.
Yeah, that's what reminded me. You got Scavenger's Talent. So just like in the D&D sets, the classes, you pay the cost to get it out, and it's got a static ability, and then you can pay to level it up, and the higher the level, the better the stuff. I thought
the funny thing is that it's simply in there for the first ability.
Yeah.
Whenever one or more creatures you control die, I create a food token.
Most of the time with the classes, if you don't want, if you're not playing it for that first ability, it's not worth playing, because that's maybe as far as you get it. You don't know. But like the wizard class, having no maximum hand size, stuff like that. It's great. But yeah, no, I thought it was a cool way they decided to bring those back, making them talents. It's a cool idea. It was a good way of doing that. I wondered if we would ever get anything else like it, unless it was a D&D set. But they did it. They did the thing.
And Tameo the Field Researcher is just good.
It's just a good card.
I would say it's just a good card.
All right.
As long as you can get to the -7 at least.
It's fine. That's fair. So, YohDood, what do you got left on here? Let's look. The Sword of Vengeance, which we already kind of talked about.
Yeah. It is a tad expensive, but could go and it goes good with, I think, any Voltron deck.
Yeah, especially if you can find ways around. Like, I'll put one in. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Connor from Assassin's Creed 3.
Fake fan.
Yeah, I can't. Sorry, I don't speak the native language. I wish I could. That'd be awesome. But the sword would go great in him because I got plenty of ways to equip it for free, to get it out for free, things like that.
The Tinder Wild Guide was probably going to be my actual number 5, but Toski.
Yeah. The offspring mechanic's pretty cool. You may pay it. It's just kicker. I mean, we know.
Kicker for a token.
Yeah, you get a token of it, and then it's a mana dork and puts 1/1 counters on creatures for a 2-drop. You can't really complain.
Which is pretty cool. Speaking of the talents, Innkeeper's talent was the one that caught my eye the most.
Yeah, because that's the one that does the 1/1 counters, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And gives permanents you control ward 1 at the second
for
level.
an extra 1
for
mana.
1 extra mana, yeah.
So, yeah, for 1 green.
Yeah, there's...
Put a 1/1 counter on something every combat. Anything with counters has ward.
Yeah.
This is Jeebus.
It's crazy.
Can't complain with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Season of Weaving was kind of like a super reserve, just in case like all my top picks got chosen.
Yeah.
6 mana, draw 5 cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, especially if you can put it in that deck like the elemental fish we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You can lower that cost some.
Yeah,
anything that can lower that cost down, getting to draw 5 cards is never a bad thing.
That's the low end of it, right?
Yeah.
You draw 3 cards and copy a thing, an artifact or creature.
Yeah, it's fair.
Or copy 2 things and draw a card.
Yeah, I like the seasons that they did. Like I did the red one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like anything that's modal like that. I love the versatility of it and giving me options throughout the game. It's always good.
Mm-hmm.
The Salvation Swan was awesome.
I didn't pick it because I don't know how much this card's going to end up costing, but its effect is kind of like one way or the other. What's the one? The Guardian. He's like a $6 card. I forget his name. It's like 1 green. He does like the same thing.
Oh yeah,
Salvation Swan does.
Yeah,
Salvation Swan would go good in my soldiers.
it goes good in a lot of decks. That's why it's
stupid good card.
It's not going to be cheap.
I picked Hugs for one reason and one reason only.
What? Because he's a badger?
Geef.
Oh yeah, putting him in Zangief. That makes sense. Not bad. Oh, you got
at the low end. It's a 4 mana 5/5 with trample that lets me play an additional land every turn.
Yeah. Not bad.
This is the Emberheart Challenger. 2 mana mouse with prowess, and whenever you target him for the first time, you can exile the top card. It's pretty cool.
Card draw in red.
Right.
Look at us go.
Wishing Well is literally only in here for the Oathbreaker deck that I have.
Yeah, but Wishing Well is in my list as well.
It seems janky.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
I want to brew with it, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's not a bad.
The only other card, I'm surprised Panda didn't pick Kitsa the Outer Ball Elite.
Yeah. He could there's only 5 rounds. He can only pick so many squirrels and otters.
I guess if we'd have gone one more, right, he'd have picked another otter.
Yeah.
I want more otters.
Probably.
But yeah, there's a 2 mana 1/3 with prowess, tap, draw, and discard, or 2 and tap and copy what? Copy target is the sorcery spell. You have to just read the card, Philip.
I think
new targets of copy, but you can only activate it if her power is 3 or greater.
I think I skipped on this because of the discard. I don't like discarding cards. I've really learned that. I hate it. I don't like doing it.
In the right deck, it can do great things for you.
Well, don't worry. I'm making a deck that's discarding all of my hand half the time.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I'm building Niv-Mizzet right now.
Yeah,
and this card just sounds perfect for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Panda's next because I think you're the third person to build a Niv-Mizzet deck, so you're up, Panda.
I'm not building a
No, you're not.
Blame the professor.
I've got a dragon deck.
A random episode of Game Night's Life.
So all that's left is
2 different Niv-Mizzets in that deck.
What was left on my list? The Wishing Well, which we already went over. The Innkeeper talent that we already went over. The War.
Talk about War and War Leader.
War Leader was one. Is 2 and a 2 white rabbit knight with offspring 2. Whenever you attack, you either create more rabbits that are tapped and attacking, or attacking creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn.
That's whenever you attack in general.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to attack.
Yeah. The rabbit doesn't even have to attack.
Fodder for what's his name?
Yeah,
the Haymaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really good. It reminds me a lot of Krinko in my Goblin deck. Whenever he attacks, he just keeps making more It's good.
I'm gonna need this
It's a good time.
Osteomancer.
Yeah,
I didn't see this
the
one.
Osteomancer Adept is one I'm really surprised you didn't take. The Squirrel Warlock with Death Touch. You can tap him until end of turn. You may cast creature spells from your graveyard by foraging in addition to paying its cost, which is just exiling 3 cards. So
I need one of these.
Or a food.
Yeah. And it's a skate with less steps. Which
is just kicker,
which
right?
which is just kicker with more steps.
Let's just name every meme that we've seen on MTG YouTube, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, the Osteomancer is great in every deck.
One of these.
Like it's gonna be good. And then Fell, we already talked about as well. 2 mana to kill the things, too good to pass up. But yeah, that was it for me. Well, guys, it's been fun going over Bloomburrow. I'm sure we'll find many more busted things between Arena and Commander tables. There's so many good cards, and we didn't even go over any of the new Commander cards from the decks. If you like woodland creatures, this is your set.
Boy Flubs.
Yeah, you get Flubs.
Secrets of Nim, you love this set.
Yeah. Secrets of Nim, man. That's a deep cut.
Yeah. Extra points if you knew the reference.
It's been really fun. We'll be back next week to talk about more, probably more Magic. You never know what you're going to get with us. We'll start one place and end in another, but it's always fun. I appreciate YohDood and Panda being on for this one. They don't always join us, but it's been fun getting to talk with everybody all at the same time.
Thanks, guys.
You guys got anything you'd like to say before we go?
I don't think so.
Let the games begin.
Right. Well, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you next time. See you guys later.
See ya.